Welcome to episode 99 of Organizations Win Championships, a Chicago Bulls podcast on OWC 2400 Sports. Along with our producer, Spencer Ray, I'm Dan Bernstein, and my podcast partner is Engelbert Pickledick. So we have a bunch of games to discuss and a new injury, as well as the passing of a Bulls all-time legend. But to set things for you, as we always do, the Bulls are now 6-9. They are 9th in the NBA East. They are currently leading the NBA in pace. First in WAR, first in pace, first in the hands of the city police. Their offensive rating is 22nd of 30, defensive rating 24th of 30, net rating overall is a minus 6.6, which has them at 25th of 30. So they're still right around the borderline, and after coming off of two of the worst defensive games in a row I can remember, consecutive 140 burgers put on them, that they had the team meeting and they said we have to stop sucking on defense. And they weren't
the famed bad. Matt Eberflus team meeting.
Yeah, right. Team meeting, right? Real conversation there, right? And they ended up getting a victory in their most recent game over the Detroit Pistons. And I don't know what it is about the Pistons matchup, but the number of crazy Zach games that have come against the Pistons.
This one was just a quarter, but. Man,
I still count it as a crazy Zach game, though. I still count it because I'm telling you, you could not get much worse than they played against the Rockets. When that was, they could not keep the ball in front of them. They just couldn't the entire game, which is fine.
I mean, it's the Bulls and it's Josh Giddey, especially. My God,
yeah, that's real bad.
Yikes. But who cares? The Rockets are really good, and they're going to be a problem this season. I think they're going to be in the playoffs. I don't think they're a play-in team, and they got some dudes that can really hoop. Şengün is really good. Jalen Green is really starting to figure it out. Fred VanVleet is really good at basketball, and we kind of forgot about him, and he's very good. Jalen Green is really good. Şengün is really good. Amen Thompson is a great bench piece. His shooting needs to get better. Both of the twins. But and Ime Udoka, when he's not, screwing around with interns, he can coach. So who knows what'll happen if he can't keep his wang in his pants. But I think they'll be formidable for a long time.
The news of the day is that Patrick Williams is having his foot examined, and it's the very same one on which he recently had surgery, and they're apparently doing imaging because there is recurring pain in his foot. Well, the timing isn't horrible if it means, in my opinion, that Matas Buzelis gets more run.
I agree with that. That being said, past few games, Patrick's been fantastic, in my opinion. I've loved what he's been doing. Regardless of how many points he scores or how many technical fouls he gets. Wow.
Yeah, good for him.
He's been really aggressive, and obviously plays aren't drawn for him. But when he gets the ball, or lately, when he's been getting the ball, he's been making things happen, whether it's getting assists or going to the basket or shooting threes. He's been doing things, which is nice. And I think the timing is bad because of that, because it seemed like he was starting to put it together a little bit. So I disagree with you. As important I think Matas could be for this team, if you're looking at this next draft class and you're saying you want the first overall pick, you're drafting another 6'10" white dude. Who's better at pretty much everything.
Yeah, but that guy, you can play anywhere on the floor. I mean, I don't care about type anymore. I will find spots for a bunch of 6'10" athletes, especially considering the possible multi-positionality of Modest that we've seen. He can
Yeah.
face the basket, he can shoot, he can put it on the floor a little bit. He plays really aggressively. So that's a luxury. Worrying about position is a luxury at this point. Get dudes. Keep
Yeah.
getting dudes.
Well, even if they don't get him, there are so many guys. I mean, Ace Bailey is fantastic. That their Rutgers point guard Dylan Harper is pretty good too. There's so many MFs in this draft class, if you know what that means. And the Bulls need some more of those guys. They don't have a lot of them. They really don't. And I don't know. I think regardless of all of this, just kind of backtracking a little bit, we need to talk about Vooch. He's been damn good.
That's why every injury that occurs in the league, I immediately think.
That's why I thought that's why I said Thunder, 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 Thunder. Get him to the Thunder. They need him.
Yeah, he's not going to protect the rim the way Holmgren did.
No, but when Hartenstein comes back, there you go.
Well, I also want to
Give
move
me
these guys before they get
Usman
hurt.
Jang and contract filler like Isaiah Joe or something.
Okay.
And if draft picks there in the future, maybe not necessarily this year, because I know the draft picks this year are going to be a little bit more valuable, and their pick is not going to be very high. So I just get it. I really like Usman Jang. He hasn't had an opportunity to do that much in Oklahoma because their team is so deep and they're so young, and so it's hard to get guys like that on the floor. But he was an 11th overall pick. Who's what? He's 6'8" Frenchman, crazy long arms, and he can run the point a little bit. I mean, it's hard not to take guys like that. And as we were saying, you can never have too many 6'8", 6'9", 6'10" guys that can run the floor and dunk and shoot, because that's what good basketball is, right?
I have seen, though, and if you've noticed, I think the ratings on ESPN are down considerably, which is a little bit of a surprise considering that the star power of the league is still there. And I know this is something that Bomani Jones and other people have talked about. Are you finding the essential 3-point contest that this has become now hard to watch? Because I think I find the basketball entertaining just because
I think it's awesome
how much people are moving.
I think it's awesome. Why not try to see the most scoring possible?
No, I agree with that, because that reminds me of my childhood. I was thinking of doing that as one of the trivia questions today.
The thing about basketball, yes, defense is important. If you score more points than the other team, you win the game. And I want to see the best teams score the most points, right?
Generally, yeah. There's some 90s basketball fans.
Can I let me say a little bit of stuff here. It makes me crazy that people are saying, "Oh, it's a 3-point contest now. It's really hard to watch." Then what do you want to watch? Do you want to watch shitty basketball? Like, have fun. Have fun with all these missed long twos and I love DeMar DeRozan, right? God, I'm saying that a lot today. Oof. Maybe I'm Eberflusing hard.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
No,
never go full Eberflus.
But I love DeMar DeRozan's game. I don't think he's ever going to win a title unless he's 40 years old and sitting on the end of a bench. I want to watch the best teams play the best brand of basketball. And the best brand of basketball is shooting a lot of threes. I watched a YouTube video recently by Jimmy High Roller, who is one of the best creators out there. And he was talking about how shooting more threes allows you to get the 2-point opportunities that you need. And that's the way basketball is trending. In teams that shoot around 45 to 50 threes per game, there is a limit, is what I learned in this video. You can't be shooting 73s a game. But if you're shooting around 45 to 50 threes per game, and generally around 50% of all your field goals are threes, maybe a little more. That's the optimal position to be in to win basketball games based on teams' records this season. There were a ton of different stats and stuff, but I think you can understand what I'm saying. Teams need to shoot more threes, and once other teams start respecting that, then you go in for rim runs and dunks. And that's basketball. That's basketball. Mid-range jump shots, great in pickup, stupid in the NBA. I don't want to see mid-range jump shots. I either want to see long balls or crazy layups and dunks. I don't need to see a mid-range jump shot. Unless it's to win a game when you're down one, and that's the only shot you have, fine. But, shoot threes every time. I like seeing deep threes. And if you have an opportunity to dunk on someone's head, as on my shirt right now, because Anthony Edwards is awesome, who's also, I think, leading the league in threes per game, or in 3-point attempts per game or something right now, shooting over 5. Just do it. Or maybe it's 3-point makes. I think it might be makes, because there are people definitely shooting more than 5 threes a game.
You were talking about watching some of these videos that you've seen. I have to say, I was going to tack onto our Patrick Williams discussion. Have you seen the mashup of his missed dunks from just this year?
God.
He is terrible at finishing. And I don't know why. I don't know how.
Are his hands too big?
That's the thing. Some guys, like the little shooter guys with the little hands, sometimes struggle around the rim. He is 6'8" and 235 pounds, and he misses two-handed open dunks.
I don't know why. He does everything so well to get to the point where he's like this, teabag.
Or this.
Or two-handed. And, he dunked on Gobert in the preseason.
Yeah, but I don't know why.
He misses the open ones.
He has 7 missed dunks this year.
Heesh. He can shoot, though. He can shoot.
Oh, I know.
And he can play defense.
So I hope he's all right. I really do. Not only for trade purposes, but just it would just be too bad. It's hard as he worked to come back. I also noticed that with Vooch, Kobe White, and Zach LaVine in the Pistons game, all having, it's only the 8th time in NBA history a team has had 3 players have 25 points each with 5 threes made. So that's the
2010s Warriors with KD and Steph and Clay. Probably a bunch.
Oh, I'm sure all the records are from the last 3 years. It's probably something crazy like that. I mean, I don't know how many times maybe the Celtics even did it last year alone.
Also, I have a fun stat for you once you.
Go ahead. That's all I was saying. It's just that the Bulls finally on the right side of some kind of basketball history.
Yeah, but in the video that I watched, the Warriors in their record-breaking season, 73-9, 2015-16, attempted as a team around 32 threes per game, which was by a mile the most in the league.
Mm-hmm.
If you put their team into the NBA right now, they would rank dead last in 3-point attempts per game.
Wow.
Yeah, the 2015-16 Warriors.
Wow. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
That's wild. And that's not even 10 years ago.
Yeah. So when you think about Steph Curry changing the game. Yeah.
Wait, just say that again. So they led the league in threes.
Except the Rockets, because the Rockets were obviously way ahead of their time.
Right.
But then the Rockets would just be middle of the pack, because that was the D'Antoni, James Harden, that team. The Warriors in 2015-16, if you took that team, would rank dead last in 3-point attempts per game this season.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. That tells you a lot.
Yeah.
Wow. Now
you shoot more.
You got the opportunity after I was in the middle of a show on Friday, and you're texting me asking if you can go see the LA Lakers and LeBron James take on the New Orleans Pelicans at Smoothie King Center. And you did. And you shared some videos. The video that Jason shared was he was 18 rows up in the baseline. And right in that corner, Yeah, it looked like a great seat. Here comes LeBron James backing down Javonte Green. So your two favorite human beings on the planet
I
are,
know.
and in real time, there's
Like,
a little bit of play-by-play in there, and Javonte gets the steal.
I know. I was wearing my full Javonte jersey, and I know I looked like a total idiot, but I
Yes, I
really
know you
didn't care. I really didn't care.
did. Anybody
And
know? Anybody recognize the jersey?
fuck no. Pardon my French. Hell no, they didn't. No way. I mean,
Nobody there.
maybe the people around me when granted, I did have a couple of beverages at the game. Maybe when the starting lineup was announced and Javonte was starting because the Pelicans have, I think, 8 guys injured and all of them are their best players, which sucks because I thought they were going to be really good this year. And they played. It was a great game. And Javonte was announced for the starting lineup, and I went apeshit. I mean, maybe they knew when they saw the green on my back that it would be Javonte Green. But at the same time, I don't know if many Pelicans or Lakers fans would remember a Bulls player with the last name Green, number 24.
Right.
So it's very niche, but so is this podcast. And I went with one of my friends, and we had a great time, and it was a great game, and everyone was crap talking Bronny in the stands. I mean, it was people hate that kid.
Hey, which kid you cut out for a second? Bronny?
Bronny. People hate Bronny.
What do you do to
because he's a
anybody?
LeBron kid.
Well,
It's ridiculous. I mean, I've gotten some stuff because of you being an idiot. And, I've gotten hate for that sort of stuff, but I couldn't imagine what it's like being his kid. I feel horrible for him. I feel terrible because he has done nothing wrong.
no.
This has not been his. He didn't ask to be LeBron's kid. He didn't ask to be drafted. I mean, maybe he did be asked, and maybe he did ask to be drafted by the Lakers. But then again, he's handled it all really well. Yet everyone just craps on him all the time. Just let him be. Can he be himself ever?
Does he like basketball?
I don't know. I think Bryce does. I think Bryce is really good.
Yeah, I'm not sure. At some point, he's just got to decide if he really, really wants to max out what he's got, or if he wants to.
Smart kid. I mean, I'm rooting for him. I really hope he succeeds. Whatever he wants to do. If he wants to be an entrepreneur, go for it. If he wants to be a realtor, go for it. If he wants to work as a plumber, go for it. I don't care. I hope he has fun, and I feel terrible for him. I don't know why people were crapping on him all the time.
How's the Smoothie King Center to watch a game?
So when I think about it, I think it's only the second arena I've been in to watch an NBA game. Because
I guess that's right.
The United Center, I don't think I've been anywhere else, which is weird to think about. And what?
You don't remember being in another NBA arena? You were.
I'm sure I was at some point.
It wasn't to watch an NBA game.
NHL?
No.
Was it Milwaukee?
Uh-huh.
Star Wars show or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was the Star Wars orchestral show with C-3PO there as the MC. He was fabulous. Anthony Daniels.
Yeah. So going from the United Center to that, it's a world of difference just because of how small it seems. I mean, it is a small market, so it's going to be a smaller arena. But the United Center is massive.
Yeah, it's a big place.
It's huge. And that was really interesting. And it was also fun to watch, not caring who wins. And there are 2 takeaways that I had other than, LeBron being awesome and Javonte being awesome. One, Don Connect should not have slipped. I don't know what I know he's a little bit older, but that dude is good at basketball. And 2, Brandon Ingram, who got hurt last night, is underappreciated as hell. Brandon Ingram is
when he's on it, he's baby Durant. He really is.
He scored 30-something. He led the game in scoring. He can score at all three levels. He has a tight handle. He's long. He's quick. He's really good. And I think it's just because he plays in New Orleans why he doesn't get enough credit. Brandon Ingram is a really good player. And if the Pelicans keep sucking, which I don't think will happen once they get everybody back, somebody might give up a lot for him because he's really good.
You mentioned Dalton Connect. Let me give you one of my favorite quotes I think I've ever seen from a coach, and it came last night. You saw that Connect against the Jazz. He had 9 threes. And Will Hardy. This is just an all-time quote. This is Jazz coach Will Hardy. You didn't see this yet? Okay. No. This is in the Salt Lake Tribune. Okay. Quote, in the second half, it seemed like everybody in the gym knew that Dalton Connect was going to shoot the next shot, with the exception of a few people. The problem was that those few people were on our team. That to me, that is on like the Mount Rushmore of coaching quotes. That's right great. There with like John McKay when he was coaching the Buccaneers, and he said, someone said, well, what do you think of your team's execution? He said, I'm all for it. So, but this one is right there. The problem, I mean, it writes itself like a perfect joke. The problem is that those few people were on our team. All right. Well, with that, let's say rest in peace to an all-time Bulls great in Bob Butterbean Love, who passed away last week at the age of 81. A really just a lovely man who has been part of the Bulls organization since he retired. And while he's known for his 3-time All-Star seasons and being on some of the great Bulls teams, or really good Bulls teams of the mid-'70s, he also overcame a debilitating speech impediment, a stutter that he thought he would never overcome. And he built himself into a professional motivational speaker. And I think the way he's shared that and the way he's helped people out, a longtime ambassador and community relations presence with the Bulls. So I really personally don't have memories. I know I was at games in which he played, but I don't really remember them. Yeah. So I'm not going to front. I'm not going to tell you that he was some important Bull to me. Like the first Bull that mattered to me was Artis Gilmore. And that was just as Love was winding down his career.
On the running list, by the way. But Bob Love also, I feel like I have to say this while at Tulane, but he's a Louisiana legend from Louisiana, went to Southern University, which is, I believe, right around New Orleans. And so, I mean, Louisiana basketball legend, rest in peace, Bulls legend, one of 4 guys to have their numbers in the rafters. And Bulls have had some pretty damn good players. And to be one of 4 is pretty remarkable, especially considering the amount of talent that has been on the Bulls roster for a long time. So rest in peace.
And also he was one of a handful of Bulls in the 70s who was represented in contract negotiations by the then named law firm Sidley and Austin. So
you're just plugging in that your dad was one of the greatest lawyers ever.
No, he didn't work with him directly, but he specifically did mention that on his passing that he had been around him and knew the people who worked closely with him, and he'd spent time with him, and just said he was a lovely man, just a wonderful guy. And I just thought you should know that your papa was sort of involved. And then the other thing my dad mentioned was he said they negotiated these big contracts when $100,000 NBA contract was considered a big deal.
Yeah, it was like when we were watching Winning Time, they were saying, what was it, 1 million over, or what was it, 1 million over 8 years for Magic Johnson, something like that?
Yeah, I think no, it was
Um,
wasn't it 1
um,
million, 8 million over 8 years, right?
8 million over, is that right? I don't
I
know,
think it was a
something like
million a
that.
year. I'm not sure.
It
I
was
think
probably a million a year, but okay.
so. That brings us to the showdown. And we had ourselves a first. We had the first ever showdown winner via Blue Sky. Because if you're just joining us, I am now at Dan Bernstein on Blue Sky. It is a lovely place, I have to say.
I've never heard of it.
Blue Sky is there's now, I want to say they're close to 20 million people on Blue Sky. And it is like Twitter without the Nazis and without all the ads. And there's no algorithm. So who you follow is who you follow.
Oh, it looks exactly like Twitter.
Nothing is forced into your feed. It is decentralized on servers. It can't be bought because it's open code. Anybody could just recreate it in an instant. And it's still a little buggy because so many people have fled Twitter and have joined Blue Sky that they're working through some of their server issues. But you're actually talking to people instead of bots.
Yeah,
And
this looks great.
it's fabulous. It's fabulous. And there is when the block and mute functions have real teeth, so you are able to control.
Yeah, because you really need it.
Well, no, I don't as much as people of color, women, and others who have been traditionally harassed in much scarier ways than I have. But it feels like old Twitter to me. It feels like the old Twitter with old conversations. So congratulations to Clone Warrior, who correctly answered your question, Jason, and that was to name the 4 people who've played for the Bulls who have been on the cover of the U.S. version of NBA 2K. And Clone Warrior correctly identified Michael Jordan, Derrick Rose, Dwayne Wade, and Ben Wallace. So way to go, Clone Warrior, and congrats to being the first ever Blue Sky winner of the showdown.
I was going to say, speaking of Twitter, have you seen that thing that apparently Trump's team is insanely annoyed with Elon Musk, which I just find hilarious?
Oh, because he's a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
he won't even. Trump probably can't even use his golden toilet without Musk in the room with him. All right, I'm going to go first. Okay. All right, Jason. This is, and if you're just joining us for the first time, the showdown, I challenge Jason on something, he challenges me, and then we throw out the crowd question for you to answer. So last week, James Harden passed Ray Allen for number 2 on the all-time NBA and ABA list of three-pointers made. Of course, number 1 is Steph Curry. Steph Curry is at 37.88, so he's still miles ahead now of Harden, who has, as of the stat I saw, he has 2,977. Ray Allen is 3rd all-time.
I know that.
With 2,973. My question to you, who's 4th?
Reggie Miller.
No.
No?
No.
Dame Lillard?
Yes.
Okay.
I thought this was going to be harder.
No, that was easy.
All right, bonus question then. Who is the highest ranked former Bull on the list?
Kyle Korver, next.
Yes. Wow. All right.
Boo.
All right. Well, that was fun.
Yikes. So mine also has to do with three-pointers.
Okay.
It is more Bulls-centric. So I want you to name the 7 Bulls to make at least 8 three-pointers in a regular season game. Just one
7?
7.
Zach LaVine.
Yep.
Lauri Markkanen.
Lauri Markkanen did it once.
Mirotic
multiple times.
Did Kobe do it?
Kobe's done it many times.
You're saying 8 in a game?
8 in a game. Kobe's done it a bunch.
All right, so I've got 4.
So one of these guys has done it multiple times, and then the other 2 have done it once each, and little bit more difficult for sure.
I'm trying to think of some.
One of them would make a lot of sense.
Did Heinrich do it?
Nope.
Ben Gordon.
Ben Gordon. And surprisingly, Korver was not on this list.
I didn't say Korver.
I found that really interesting.
So that's 5. I've got 3 more.
5. Yeah,
3 more. 2 more.
2 more. 2 more.
Okay. Did Deng do it?
No.
Deng. Heinrich. Did Derek?
Nope. These ones are going to be a little bit harder. I'll just say that.
It must have been some crazy game from somebody like DJ Augustine.
No. But I get where you're going in that you're getting closer by thinking. You just kind of
like this guy, like it's like once in a while Chris Duhon would go. Was it Duhon?
Chris Duhon. Duhon.
Yeah.
Did it.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I always talk about the crazy Duhon game. Yeah.
Yes.
He had a handful of them.
5, I think.
Yeah. No, I remember. Like what the hell is that? Okay.
One more.
Here. One more. I got Mirotic. I got Duhon. Nocioni?
Nope. More recent is what I'll say. Think last 8 years ish or so. Think more modern.
All right, but that's all kind of a blur. If we're talking about there could be Boylan guys in there. Who's some like random? Jimmy didn't do it.
Nope.
It's got to be some
Boylan era.
It's a Boylan rando. Damn it! I don't know.
Shot a lot of times. You're right there, so I'm not going to let you off the hook.
Shot a lot of times. Anthony Blakeney.
Antonio Blakeney, but
Antonio Blakeney.
Good guess.
Because he shot it every time. Shot a lot of times. It's not Luke Cornett, even though
he is infamous one moment as a Bull.
Infamous for one. Infamous. Not
infamous for one moment as a Bull. And
was it
is viral?
Viral moment. Was it a missed?
God.
Was it a missed dunk?
No.
Was it? Oh, is it Denzel Valentine?
Denzel Valentine.
Yes. He had 8 threes in a game.
He had 8 threes in a game in 2018.
What are you
doing?
Oh
my goodness, Valentine.
Oh my goodness. All right. I got it. All right.
Oh no.
Oh no. Here's the crowd question. And you can answer this question via Twitter. That is at Dan_Bernstein. Via Instagram, you can send it to Jay at Jason.Bernstein_, or on Blue Sky, as we now know, at Dan Bernstein. No underscore, just at Dan Bernstein. And this has to do with Bob Love. Bob Love, as of right now, is still the all-time Bulls single season leader in what statistical category? He remains in Bulls history in this, and this is not some convoluted category. It's not like defensive win shares per 48 or something like that. This is a very straightforward standard box score category in which Bob Love is the all-time Bulls single season leader. So send your answer, and then we will shout you out on the big 100 that is going to be, and Jason's going to be home. So he will be right next to me here.
I will make sure to punch you in the balls.
Thank you. Awesome. I'm looking forward to it with great anticipation. So that's it. Listen, subscribe, rate, review, download, do all the things to be a part of the OWC family, and we'll catch you for the big 100 next episode.
Yeah, because I'm going to be home, it'll be really special. We could do something really stupid.